A knock on your door after a storm might seem really helpful, but it could be the start of a very expensive mistake. Let's talk about storm chasers, shady roofers, and how not to get screwed when your shingles do. Today, we're talking about storm chasers and shady roofers and things to avoid when it comes to roofs. And for all of his professional opinions and advice, we have Luke Jacks here with us from Castle Crest Roofing. Thanks for being here, Luke.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely scam alert, right? Red flag. It's like having a bad ex or some new guy you're trying to date, right?
Yeah. Ugh. So many red flags. So yeah, let's talk. Yeah, I know a lot of red flags for dating, but let's talk about red flags for roofing.
Oh, where do you want to begin?
Well, I mean, maybe what we should do is just start at the beginning. And, I mentioned storm chasers, and we keep throwing this term around about these horrible storm chasers, but maybe everybody doesn't even really understand what that is or who they are. So maybe you could kind of give us the rundown on like, what do you consider a storm chaser?
I mean, like I said, this is probably going to rub a lot of roofing contractors the wrong way, but this is what I'm here for because I'm quality work, I'm honest, and I don't chase hail. Like the work I get is from referrals, repeat business, or it's new business that I strum up from relationships. So a lot of homeowners are getting bombarded. Like let's just say Milliken, Colorado got slammed with hail, really large hail. Like I mean, almost golf ball size to baseball size. When that happens, I heard that there was almost 10 or 12 different roofing contractors already on site in Milliken in those neighborhoods. So imagine 15 different contractors, probably 6 to 12 different salespeople from each company knocking on your door's home. How's that going to make you feel? You get 10 people knocking on your door within an hour of hail hitting.
So the storm chasers are contractors or roofing companies who are watching for storms, and then as the storm is happening, like they're already in their trucks driving there.
Yeah, that's their niche, right? That's a residential roofer. That's a residential roofing company. That's what they do. That's how they make their money. High volume roofing sales, and that you can do that with hailstorms, and that's why it muddies the water on what's really happening, not happening, right? I myself get annoyed when someone just knocks on my front door and it's not even anybody, like, I don't know, like no one should be coming to my house unless I invited you, right?
Yeah.
Like it bugs me. Like I'm that grumpy old man's like, who the hell's at my door?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, you're not welcome around here. But I would just say storm chasing, that's how roofing companies make their money, and there's nothing against that, right? I mean, as far as a roofer or a roofing salesperson that chases storms to provide a living for himself and or his family, to put a roof over his head and food in his belly, there's nothing wrong with it. The thing that's wrong with it, I see, is like the bombardment of how many people will flood a neighborhood right after a hailstorm. I think it's obscene.
Well, and we talked in this previous episode where we were talking about roofing and insurance, and we learned that these insurance claims are highly lucrative for roofing companies. So you can see where roofing companies would, niche into that. And yes, chasing a storm is how they're making their money. And like you said, there's nothing inherently bad about it. But I think when you start to get a bunch of people who are doing door knocking and they're willing to go door knocking, I think it very easily kind of goes over into this highly aggressive sales tactics, which are not cool because people should have the time to, if they want to collect bids, if they want to check out the company, they want to ask for the certificate of insurance and check Google reviews. And when you've got somebody in your face at your door wanting you to make a decision right now, it really, you can't do all of those other due diligence things that we've been talking about.
Absolutely. For example, the last company I was doing operations for, they are predominantly more of a residential roofing company than a commercial roofing company. And the sales team, actually, their tactics were very good. Like, they were thorough and they were knowledgeable. They would make their own flyers of how to take homeowners through the insurance process. And they would offer this flyer to you when they came and knocked on your door to get on your roof to do an inspection. And they're like, hey, let's open a claim. Not all companies are like that, but they were very thorough about making sure you understood what was everything, telling you they're a local based company, providing you any information that you're asking for up front, and not being pushy.
Right.
The follow-up may seem a little pushy, but the follow-up is just to ensure that we're still moving forward with that contracted insurance claim, right? Because once we leave, there's going to be 3 or 4 other companies knocking on your door with this from the same storm. So, and if you feel comfortable with just a lot of times it's a no hassle, hands-off process with the companies I've personally worked for or worked with, which I think it's the best process, right? Homeowners, it's confusing. This whole insurance claim, door knocking, what do I do? Or you have a canvasser that's just strictly some guy knocking on doors to get the sales guy to your address, which is kind of a pain in the ass as well. But this is what they do. We can't hop on them because this is their living. But at the same time, it's overwhelming. But you as a homeowner, we have the right to like take a step back and be like, I just no more knocks, right? And then come back and visit whoever you've talked to or who you felt like was going to be the better choice or comfortable, right, to work with.
Well, and one of the things that I thought was funny that we talked about in another episode was this whole idea of checking out the license plates.
It is. I'm going to tell you right now, the last company I was with, they're a Nebraska-based company. So our trucks out here had Nebraska plates. But though they've been in the Loveland, they have had a Grand Junction office for 3-4 years. They've had a Loveland office 3-4 years. So now they're re-registering their vehicles to be called prominent Colorado plates, which is a good thing, right? So they're making the effort to establish themselves in our community so they can be a local company that people want to go to. I mean, you'll get Kansas, you'll get Missouri, Oklahoma, you'll have all kind of Nebraska, Texas. You're going to get license plates from multiple states during a huge hailstorm.
Yeah. And so one of the tips that we were talking about was, checking to see if they have a local office, how long have they been in business, all that due diligence stuff to make sure. In fact, go check out our episode that we did, how to hire a good roofer. Because we dove deep on that in that episode. What about other roofing scams? What other kinds of things are going on in your industry that people should be aware of or look out for?
It's like with any industry, right? You have your perks and you have your not so much of a perk, being pressured into something. I would say avoid pushy salespeople. And if you feel like a salesperson is being pushy, then ask them to leave your property, right? That gives other roofing companies a bad name because that individual was being pushy or saying you have to sign the contract now. I would say the scammy part of, a lot of things are just, they're rushing you through the information they're handing you. They're not taking the time to explain it or acknowledge the questions you're asking, or they just really feel like they don't care for what's going on. You want to work with somebody who cares about taking you through the process and cares about their job.
I recently did a deal where we had to put a new roof on before we closed. And I remember that part of that, the city ordinance was requiring class 4 shingles. And it makes me wonder, in terms of materials, are there things going on very often where like you are paying for class 4 shingles, or you think that's what you're getting, but they're actually putting on other like substandard materials, or is that not really something to worry about?
I would say in the past it was something to worry about, right? They would write a heavy contract, they would charge you more money, and they put on a cheaper material. But as every city, every jurisdiction, county that I've worked for requires a class 4 shingle, which is hail resistant. It's a standard now across the board to where It's just the shingle that most roofing companies are using instead of using a class 3 or a non-classed hail resistant shingle. So you're getting more bang for your buck now because the requirements are becoming more stringent, and companies are taking more care and just giving you the better roof system out the door.
What about the crews that come out? Because you talk to the salesperson and, he's slick. He knows what he's talking about. We sign the deal. And then you get this crew that shows up. Like, and some of that, like, I'm not saying like everybody on site, because we talked about whether or not there's somebody on site who speaks English, and that's not that big of a deal. But what kinds of things to look for with the crews?
I mean, before I answer that, a lot of companies, the majority of roofing companies use subcontractors. I mean, Castle Crest Roofing is a subcontractor to other companies.
And you use subcontractors as well.
I use subcontractors. I trust the labor I've used for 10 plus years. A lot of companies are self-performing. The last company I was with, they prided themselves in being self-performing on any type of roof installation, which is great.
What kind of recourse do homeowners have? Like if there's some, unprofessional shenanigans that are happening once the crew shows up and the homeowner's already signed the contract, the materials have already been delivered, what are some options that homeowners have to if something like that's going on?
Get a hold of your salesperson. Let them know right away.
So tattletale is the answer.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they say snitches get stitches, but I mean, this is your home. This is the biggest purchase that anybody makes in their life the majority of the time.
Yep.
So we're there to protect your assets. And if there's something going on that you don't like, call your salesperson, call the operations manager, call the superintendent, get photo documentation or anything and get it handled right away.
All right.
A bad Google review. That's another recourse, right? We don't. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, those things stick. They don't go away right away.
No.
But that's the thing is, like, call your salesperson first. Do that. Go through that process, and then if you're still not getting what what the problem was resolved, then I would say do the bad Google review, right? Or just make a concerning statement, or just try to call corporate or the higher ups.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Have we exhausted all of these roofing scams and things to look out for? What do you think? Is there anything else you can think of?
Man. No, I mean, I'm sure something will pop up. I mean, like, and it's like anything. Someone's always trying to make a quick buck off of somebody who's hardworking.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we have made you sufficiently aware of roofing scams to avoid. Thanks to Luke Jacks from Castle Crest Roofing. So thanks again for being here today.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited. Thank you.
If you like this content and want to support the channel, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.